Hi, my name is Ariana Kent, and this is my Tableau 2 project for ISM 3011. So here's the data set that I used throughout my project, and I really utilized the regions of East and South in the departments, the item names, sales, and profits to complete the visuals created. So the first visual I have is the sales by region and product, which includes the regions of East and South, along with the different items and product names throughout the years of 2020 and 21. So these are my generic, this is my basic visual, and so you can see that the Bowflex Max had the highest sales for each year in both regions. And moving on to sales in the East, so this is my second one. It narrowed it down to now, instead of East and South, just East, and so we still see a common trend that the Bowflex Max had the highest amount of sales for 2020 and 2021 throughout this. So then that kind of sparked a little interest and something I wanted to look further into. So then this is just a little narrowed down. And so next I created a profit map by state. And so this includes all the different states found within the East regions and their profits they made from all these different companies in the sales. And so here I was also utilizing the different filters by filtering out for 2020 and 2021. And so the one that sparked my interest was New York. It had the highest profits, and so I wanted to look further into that one, to my other ones. But as you can see, the darker shaded reds indicate that they have the highest profits, meanwhile the lower ones have the low profits. And so moving on, this is the different items for New York, because that was the one that sparked my interest, and you can see the darker regions, meaning that they have higher sales and profits. And so Bowflex Max, as we've seen before, has the highest, and it also has the largest circle compared to these other circles, and it is the darkest in coloring. So the Bowflex Max was the highest product, most selling product. And so then we're going to move on to my dashboard, which throughout my dashboard, I have it linked with filters to where you can access all these. You could click on a state and it'll show you the statistics down here for the amount of sales for the item and department. So I began clicking on New York because it had the highest, as you can see in the other visuals and sheets. So as you look down here, it shows that the Bowflex Max still had the highest amount of sales for both years, 2020 and 2021. So that was what I concluded with this. And you can also click on other states. I highlighted and listed all these different filters just to toy around with it and click on other ones. But New York was one that sparked my interest. And so I decided to create a story dashboard. So I originally started off with the sales and profit by year, which looked very similar to my second sheet. And so it was the East region, highlighting that Bowflex Max had the highest amount of sales due to its dark purple coloring for both 2020 and 2021. So then I moved on to the top performing item, which fell under the elliptical category, which was the Bowflex Max. So I wanted to see exactly what the sales were for the total sales in the East were. And then I also wanted to see the highest performing items in the East. And so here I would click on like the different states. But New York had the highest overall between the 2 years. And if you look down here to look at what product it was the Bowflex Max for the year 2020 and 21 once again. So then I wanted to look specifically into the highest profit in New York, like all together. And so right here I use the filter and click directly on New York, and it shows me here that the Bowflex Max had the most sales, but also the Horizon EX59 was not too far behind for 2020. But for 2021, the sales did go down for both products, but the Bowflex Max still remains the highest. So that I wanted to look for 2020 and looked further into that. And you could see this is like an up close visual of 2020, the Bowflex Max having that. And also keep note of the profit here, because when I switch over to 2021, the profit decreased by 50%. So there's some factor that made the profit decrease. And Bowflex Max still remains the highest selling product and still a good profit number for New York. So then that led me to question like what other state has the highest profits, and it brought me to Pennsylvania, which ended up for the years. So that one overall had the second highest, and I was curious to see which product had the highest, and it was also the Bowflex Max as well. So that was my story. But what other factors could increase overall profits and sales would be targeting advertising techniques towards the direct audience and target audience. That way, like the products can be met directly to those audiences. That way, they are more prone to buy the products and want to purchase them. And in addition, for the dash or for all these visuals in the data, it would be helpful to have the population count, so that way I can make a sheet involving the different cities, and that way it would make more sense showing that the sales in New York would obviously be higher and profits would be higher compared to a state as Rhode Island due to the small population. So that was one thing I would include. And overall, Tableau has enabled me to be able to create these visuals and also explain them as well. So I am able to visually map out data and lay it out in an organized manner where it's very understand to read.